All right, Eagles offense. Let's move right along. I thought the Eagles offense had a really good game plan. Now, do I think that they should have ran the ball more? Of course, like everyone else. However, I will say that this is the first time I thought that Kevin Patullo actually game planned winners versus their coverage. He had good schemes versus their coverage, meaning that he married multiple plays. So in certain formations, he had 3, 4, 5 plays that all looked the same and all of them were successful or had someone open. When it came to zone and man coverage schemes, there were multiple people open. So I thought Kevin Patullo played or called a really good game. He put a lot of the running game on Jalen Hurts' shoulders, meaning that they went to RPO run game. And instead of Jalen calling it and letting the run play ride or let it go, he would pull the ball away from Saquon and throw it to the flat to Dallas Goedert or slant backside to A.J. Brown. We saw that in the past. You need like a balance when it comes to giving the quarterback the autonomy for run plays. I thought the offense at times were unstoppable, but every time we were in position to take control of the game and put the game out of reach, we had a bonehead penalty the entire game. You talking about an illegal man down the field, a holding at the inopportune time, just something here or there in order to stop, put us in second and long that caused us to punt or stall out a drive each and every time. Offensive line has to do a lot better job when it comes to run blocking. I know that Lane is hurt. I know that Landon Dickerson is hurt. And we know we're playing with Fred and Tyler and others. But we have to figure out a way to be able to block people. I thought that the Broncos controlled the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. So we got to do a better job. We got to come up. We did have some success on some outside running plays. One of the plays that Saquon had that was as long was 17 yards was off a formation that we had A.J. Dillon get one for 9 and also a deep cross that was missed by Jalen to Grant Calcaterra. So like that formation seemed to be good for us and had some positive plays off of that. It was a 12 personnel concept with a tight end off the ball. Was a really good concept for us. Kevin Patullo did a good job. I would say Jalen Hurts play. He left a lot of things on the field that game, a lot of them. Made some spectacular plays. They doubled A.J. Brown in cover 2 to A.J. Brown's side. He had to cover 4 to Devontae and a deep cross coming toward Devontae. Devontae took an inside release on a go route, which is never do. You're supposed to never do that. But I guess he figured that Riley Moss, if you break inside, he's going to try to cut off a inside breaking route. And he did that and created a bunch of separation. And Jalen threw him the ball anyway, which is like, you don't. It's like a law, you don't supposed to do that, but those two were on the same page and made a play. So Jalen was able to make that happen and with a great dime. Probably one of the best throws I've seen this year from Jalen. So thus far was the Jahan Dotson go route on the sideline. He put that ball in there, and that was a dime. I wish Jahan would have saved a little bit more of the sideline. That's on the receiver and could have dragged his feet, but that ball to Jahan Dotson was a dime. The one to A.J. Brown, the one that they missed on a double move, that was a good play call by Kevin Patullo. Put A.J. Brown in the spot that he's not normally in, which is, in the slot left side. The Broncos did a good job of rerouting A.J. Brown on the first level. Before you get to 5 yards, you can touch the receiver. The nickelback in that situation did a really good job of touching A.J. Brown and pushed him like 3 or 4 yards down inside. And now when A.J. Brown got to the double move part to shake the safety, his timing was off. So he made a move outside and ended up making another move inside on the safety, which took too much time. And Jalen Hurts held the ball, and by the time it got down the field, A.J. Brown stopped running. But if you get rerouted, the coaching point is if you get rerouted early in the route, that's taking your time on the safety. So you have to just make one move on the safety and go. You can't change your mind down the field. And I think that was the coaching point. If he would have just stayed outside and just ran as hard as he could, he probably would have got a 50-50 ball down the field and definitely would have caught up to that ball. So I would say that's a coaching point. Great call by Kevin Patullo on the Saquon touchdown. That basically is a post-wheel concept. Dallas Goedert had a post to take away the safety and a corner this side, leave it one-on-one against Alex Singleton. And Saquon faked the halfback option like he's going to break out and stuttered just a little bit and took off on a wheel route. And those two connected for a touchdown. That was a great play call. It was schemed up just for that situation. That was a great play call. So Kevin Patullo, when it came to the passing plays, unlike any time this year, he balled out in those situations. Do we need call it and run plays? We need those in order to get Saquon his touches. But ultimately, our offense stalled in the second half and caused the defense to be on the field 8 minutes more than them, and ended up costing us the game. And we had multiple opportunities to win that ball game. Offensive line got dominated. In critical moments, Cortland Sutton made plays. And in critical moments, the one that A.J. Brown, the slant that he had, didn't get open. Now, I will say that was like the fifth slant on Patrick Surtain. So we got to have some variety in those situations. It was the same 2x2 that A.J. Brown caught 3 other times in that formation, 5 slants total, but 3 in that formation. Of course, the defensive player of the year is going to make one of those plays. And in a critical moment in the fourth quarter, we called another slant in the same formation, and he got covered. AJ did, but I can't blame AJ. That's on Kevin Patullo understanding, man. You got a defensive player of the year, all pro player out there. You can't keep calling the same routes on him. So I thought that was a negative thing. But Cortland Sutton on the opposite end, when it was time to make plays, he made those plays. And when the Eagles had to make plays, they didn't make those plays. I'm going to tell you the backbreaker of the Eagles' day, pretty much. The Broncos go up 18-17. The ensuing kickoff return, Will Shipley gets a kickoff out to the 40-yard line. Right? So he gets a kickoff out to the 40-yard line. The Eagles have great starting position. Devontae Smith gets a positive game. The next play, Devontae's in the flat for another positive game on RPO. Offensive lineman illegally down the field. I believe it was Jordan Mailata. Right down the field. It was definitely the right call. On a Cortland Sutton first or second down, maybe the drive before that, they were illegal down the field. He called a back shoulder fade. They had a man illegal down the field. So that was the unfortunate part that the Broncos got away with. The Eagles got caught for it. And that happens sometimes. But nonetheless, they're backed up now. Now they're behind the sticks. Give Devontae Smith another catch. 4th down. Devontae Smith catch what would be the game-winning field goal in field goal position. Catches a go route, a fade ball down the field. It's called back. Jahan Dotson is moving. He can run out there and get lined up on the ball. And Saquon does not get set. There's a call that you make on offense called a hurry call. That means if you have motion, forget the motion. Don't worry about it because we're against the play clock, and the play clock is at 5 or 6 seconds. Jalen put Saquon in motion at like 8 seconds. He comes back in, doesn't have enough time to get Saquon set. Next thing you know, it's a penalty. That drive was a drive or a day killer because they would have been in field goal range at the least, but had the ball 1st and 10 inside the 30-yard line or around the 20-yard line, in which they could have stalled and got more clock and went up 6 points or went for 2 and ended up, up 7 again, right? So I thought it was one of those drives that you get 2 critical errors in that drive, you lose the ball game. And then on the final drive, you give up a pressure on 1st down. Fred gets beasted by John Cooper and Benito gets pressure on Mailata. Everyone, the pockets compressed. Jalen could do nothing in that situation. I will say Jalen took 6 sacks. 4 of those sacks were all on him. 2 of them he could have thrown away easily, and 2 other ones he scrambled for a negative yard. Didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. So 4 sacks on Jalen Hurts. I thought he played an okay game, but throwing the ball, he was accurate when he did have the opportunity. He missed about 4 or 5 good, wide open receivers. Multiple people in one play ended up either taking a sack, running away, doing something that was a little bit weird, but he missed guys. I don't know if it's because he couldn't see him or not. But about 4 or 5 plays, he left some plays out there. And then the offense just didn't get anything going in the run game. You got to be able to run the ball. When you up 17-3, third quarter, it's time to run the ball, and the Eagles did not do that. So I thought our offense shot themselves in the foot, and it's definitely a lesson that's to be learned. And we appease A.J. Brown, we appease the passing offense, we got them the touches, but end up losing the game. So there's a balance, right, that has to happen. That, yeah, you listen to your players, but you also do what's in the best interest of your team. And I thought late in that ball game, running the football would have been a better outcome than throwing it and killing the clock as much as we did, especially in those last few drives. We were going 3 and 4, 5 and out, and therefore no time was bleeding off the clock, and it gave the Broncos more than enough time to make a run, and they did just that. Let me think of anything else. Offensively, in a nutshell, got to run the ball better, much better. Continue to build on this passing game that they had. Use the RPO, but let some of those runs stay on. But I thought overall it was the best our offense looked passing the ball, and we left a lot of yards out there against a really good defense. And not to turn it over against that defense is pretty impressive. So that's my thoughts on the offense.